Hello and welcome to this brief video where we will be discussing the advantages and disadvantages of utilizing spans as it relates to your NPM and APM solution. Now, before we get too far into that, let's take a step back and actually discuss what a span is and why you may be utilizing it. What problem are you actually trying to solve? So first, the problem that we're trying to solve here is we have packets flowing within our environment. Those packets are traversing a switch, which has the capabilities to span, sometimes called port mirroring, that traffic from its original port to its destination. Now, this does not impact the original production traffic. This is basically making a copy of it to a new destination with the intent of monitoring or doing sometimes called a pack capture or sniffing. Now, with this in mind, your goal here is not to monitor a voice or things of that nature, and we'll get into why that might be. And so we now know that, hey, we're trying to extract packets from our data network utilizing this technology called a span. So that's the problem we're trying to solve. Now let's get into why we may utilize this versus other technologies. You may have been made aware of like caps and so forth. Well, let's get then into the advantages of a span. The span actually is a low-cost, it's free, capability that most switch manufacturers offer today. Now, the other benefit is its implementation. When you implement a span, there is no production downtime. You're not disconnecting any type of wires or anything towards that effect. You may have to abide by your corporation's change control and appropriate policies such as that, but from the ease of your home, you're now able to configure and manipulate where traffic is going, or I should say, a copy of that traffic. So then let's get into the next advantage of utilizing a span, and that is its degree of filtering. Now we can filter it such as maybe the source port, the destination port, or maybe a particular VLAN that we're interested in. Excellent. Now we aren't going to get into deep packet inspection or anything of that nature when we are talking about filtering a span. That's more handled by maybe our tool set, our aggregation switches, which will be a topic of another video. So then let's get into the final advantage of utilizing a span that I really want to talk about here, and that is that it will capture your east and west traffic. Many times people are utilizing spans not because they have to, but because they actually do have to capture that east and west traffic. A tap, for example, will not capture that traffic, no matter what technology you're using, simply because maybe two hosts live on the same switch. So you are required, you have to utilize a span, and that's fine. So let's get into the disadvantages. The disadvantage to utilizing a span is going to be associated with the resources required of that device to copy that traffic. Now, those resources vary depending on the switch manufacturer and so forth, but you just need to understand those resources required and what occurs when those are consumed. For example, if your switch goes 100% utilization for CPU and memory, how does that affect your span? Will you get all the data? Now, is that a case that happens often? No, but when more than likely you're going to need that span when it does do the 100% utilization to simply understand what is going on in my environment. The next is that the level 1 errors when you are utilizing a span are completely removed. So you won't see that data. Now, on the other side of that coin, hopefully your toolset is able to understand those layer 1 issues so that you're able to handle them appropriately. Otherwise, there's no point bringing that particular one up. Then let's get into the capabilities of the span. Now, the capabilities of the span will differ considerably, even within the same manufacturer, depending on the model. So make sure that you engage your switch manufacturers, either their TAC or their SEs. Even the documentation has a lot of good assets. Many of my customers have found issues associated with utilizing spans after the fact in those emergency situations, and you do not want to be in that particular case. So I hope you enjoyed this very brief 5-minute video concerning the advantages and disadvantages. Now there may be particular points that you say, well, Bob, you missed this absolutely critical point. Well, please, I implore you, please add comments to our blog here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments and suggestions, as I mentioned earlier. And please reach out to me personally on any type of topics that you may want to cover in a brief video. Thank you, and have a great day.